Welcome to the Amber Swartz-Garcia case part 3. As a reminder, topics may be triggering. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. The cop told the witness that the license plate of the vehicle was linked to a car in a junkyard in Los Angeles. 2 days later, the witness meets up with a detective from the Pinole Police Department and they go to Alvarado Park, and he again walks the detective to what he and his daughter saw that day. On September 30th of 1993, the witness's daughter, who was now 16, told authorities about the man and the little girl who were at Alvarado Park 5 years ago. She said that she remembered the little girl was blonde, the man was skinny, not very tall, but not too short, brown hair maybe, and the car was light blue or light gray. On October 5th, 1993, the witness's daughter was explained what a photographic lineup was, saying that number 2 was the man that looked like the man she saw 5 years ago. It was Timothy Bidner. On October 22nd, 1993, the witness passed a lie detector test. On October 27, 1993, Polly Klass's grandfather, Joe, received a call from Timothy Bidner. Polly Klass is another Bay Area case I've covered. If you want to go back and watch or listen to that, you can. During this call, Timothy offered his help, saying that he was not a professional, but he had done a lot of work in this field. He said that he knew people in prison from Alcoholics Anonymous meetings in Soledad. After this call, Mark Klass, Polly's dad, called John Burris, who represented Timothy Bidner in his defamation case, and asked his client to stop calling. On May 2nd of 1997, Timothy's defamation case against Fairfield settled for $90,000, and the city admits no fault. In November of 2007, Curtis Dean Anderson confessed to kidnapping and murdering Amber Swartz-Garcia. This real-life Guguy worked as a cab driver in the Bay Area. I will do another video dedicated on the other possible victims of his case. But in 2000, he abducted and sexually assaulted an 8-year-old named Mitzi Sanchez from Vallejo, California. She managed to escape 2 days later. In 1999, he kidnapped, molested, and murdered a 7-year-old named Ziana Fairchild from Vallejo, California. He snatched her while she was walking to school in December of 1999. Partial amounts of her remains were discovered in the Santa Cruz Mountains in January of 2001. A July 7, 2009 ABC article announced that the FBI was intending to re-question Curtis and perform a polygraph test on him, but he died before they got a chance to do so. The FBI also spent 18 months corroborating his story. According to Curtis Dean Anderson, he was on a road trip from the Bay Area to his aunt's house in Arizona, and he just didn't feel like being alone. So he decided to randomly stroll through Amber's suburban neighborhood in Pinole, California. On June 3rd, 1988, at around 4:30 p.m., he saw Amber, stopped, opened the door, and pulled her in. Curtis allegedly forced Amber to drink liquor to sedate her. He took her to a motel somewhere around Tucson, Arizona. Within a day and a half, he abducted, sedated, sexually assaulted, killed her, and placed her in the trunk of his car, followed by an unsuccessful trip across the border to Mexico due to being inebriated. So as an alternative, he dumped her body in the desert along Highway 10 while on his way to his aunt's house as his aunt's ranch in Benson, Arizona. Curtis died in prison in 2007 while serving time for his brigade of offenses. In July of 2009, the police announced the case was solved and closed due to Curtis Anderson's confession. On April 15, 2013, the FBI released an article asking the public for help identifying other victims of this scuy with the name of Curtis Dean Anderson. Like I said, I will do a separate episode talking about all of his other possible victims. On October 2nd of 2013, an NBC News article announced that the Pinole Police Department is reopening the Amber Swartz-Garcia case due to advances in technology and a Change.org petition. In December of 2020, the man on death row for killing Amber's dad and Rena Aguilar died in prison. He got to live 71 years. In later interviews, Kim revealed that she and Al Garcia parted ways in 1990 and they were never legally married. A June 6, 1988 Mercury News article has a rather disturbing title that in today's cancel culture would be crushed to shreds. The headline reads, and I quote, "Search suspended for deaf girl," end quote. The same article criticized another published description of Amber as retarded, further stating that she was not, but was almost completely deaf and spoke with a slight speech impediment. The term deaf girl, when referring to Amber Swartz, should not be used. She was a normal girl skipping rope right in front of her house that happened to have a hearing impairment. Big difference. And just as a reminder, Amber was just 7 years old when she disappeared at around 4:30 and 5 p.m. on June 3rd, 1988 from Pinole, California. She regularly wore a hearing aid, but it was later found in her room, indicating she was not wearing it when she went missing. The state of California's Department of Justice describes her when she went missing as standing 4 feet tall with blue eyes and blonde hair, 64 pounds. She was missing her right front tooth.